Good evening, good morning, good night, wherever you watch this transmission. Tis I, Mike Martins, bringing you a very, very, very important announcement. If you're living down under in Australia, this is very important. A lot of Australians watch my channel. Been covering the Australian housing market for 4-5 years now. Don't bother going back on my history on my channel because everything is gone. I think I have housing videos up into the next year they're allowing me to keep. So I don't know what's happening with that. So we'll get on that on Mike in the Night on Saturday night. But at the news at hand right now, ABC, always broadcasting crap news, is finally coming out with something that actually makes a little bit of sense. That's actually nonfiction. So instead of massaging numbers and making people feel investors calm and stuff, it's hitting the big one. I think we hit the big one, and it's going to get a lot worse going from here before things get better. But this is the reset button that Australia has been longing for because they've been in pretty much in a housing bull market since 1975. So let's see what this is saying here. This has been sent to me 30, 40 plus times. I want to thank everyone down under for following me and being a part of this channel. And if you want to donate to the channel, you can hit me up in the tip jar or share one of my videos. That's all I ask. Australia's economy just entered a recession on a per capita basis. Wow. Back to grade 10 business. Haven't heard that in years. Australia has just recorded its second straight quarter where the economy shrank on per capita basis. Removing the impact of population growth from the fourth quarter GDP figures, the economy declined 0.2% in 3 months at the end of a 3-year following a 0.1% decline in the 3 months up to September. Including population growth does not make the picture much rosier, with the economy growing at 0.2% over the fourth quarter. The weak results dragged down Australia's economic growth last year, 2.3%, well below the Reserve Bank optimistic call of 2.8%, and beneath even the more pessimistic analytic forecasts. Oh yeah, big time. Oh, I'm gloom and doom when it comes to this because when people are paying 16, 17 times their annual income for a house, a detached bungalow that's, the same house in Houston is like 90 grand, and you're paying $2 million for it in Australia, people aren't making enough money to live. That's plain and simple. The Australian proper is completely bought out. It shows a dramatic slowdown over the course of last year, with annualized growth over the second half of the year in a 1% compared with the brisk 4% in the beginning months. Growth in the economy was subdued, reflecting soft household spending and decline in dwelling investments, ABC chief economist said. Okay, guys, here's the deal, okay? Consumer spending is down. Our consumer confidence in the markets is down to, in some parts, in some English-speaking countries, to 1975 or 74. 74 or 75? Consumer spending is down to that. So it's pretty. Consumer confidence is down to these record low numbers, and they're not really telling people what they really are, and they're trying to make people go out and spend money, but people are tapped out. They've been using their homes as ATM machines. We're in a deflation stagnatory period right now, and yeah, it's not looking good. Treasurer Josh said the fundamentals of the economy remain strong despite the impact of the falling consumption spending and the drought. It was a challenge year in halves when it comes to growth. Strong quarters in March and June and slower than September and December. Okay, guys, we got a tiny problem. Spring, it's gone in Australia. They're at the tail end of their summer. We got a tiny problem here, and can I tell you what the problem is? Australia was projecting a massive spring pickup in housing, in the economy, and everything. Nothing happened. No one went out to auctions. Nobody had money to spend, and with the stress testing going on and the Royal Commission sniffing around, it's not a really good storm. Australia's headed to a perfect storm economic-wise. Government spending covers weak private sector. The domestic sector continues to struggle with the consumption of a weak 0.4% over the quarter. Oh, that's horrible. with private, that's 0.4%. They're just doing that to prop it too, eh? You know that, eh? They could sway the numbers in any favor they want when it comes to public opinion and public sentiment and keeping the masses calm, because last thing Australia wants is civil unrest. Private sector investment and demand effectively contributed nothing to GDP growth compared with the 0.4 percentage points they added over the previous 4 quarters. The biggest contributor to growth was the government spending. But that's guys, okay. Okay, let's put up a headline. Australia announces another 2,000 or 10,000 new jobs. Okay, private or public sector? Oh, they're public sector jobs. Nobody cares. More government jobs equals more strain on the private sector. The private sector needs to fund these cities. And I've been talking about a city tax coming now for over 2 years. A city tax will be coming to your city. You're going to have your federal tax, okay, your provincial tax, and then you're going to have your city tax on your receipt for goods and services. So you're going to have a city tax on your gas bill, your water bill. You're going to have a city tax or city levy or whatever the hell they want to call it on everything. And then people are going to have to fight to take back their countries eventually. Countries are going to be completely taken over by the banks and the taxation system. So the biggest contributor of growth was government spending. I don't think that's a good idea, guys. I really, you know what, guys? I'm not an educated person. I can't even read, okay? This is not, I mean, someone that's sitting back and looking at this and saying, what are you doing? You're robbing Peter to pay Paul. But how's Paul going to refill it? How is Paul going to pay his rent? Plug it. Okay, let's continue here. There's a comment here. There's quotes here, in quotations. Public investment remained at high levels, with state local government growth 6.3%, reflecting continued work on number of large infrastructure projects. Yeah, but that's all funded by the private sector. Okay, this investment translates to ongoing strength from the healthcare industry. That's funded by the private sector, which remains the largest contributor to economic growth. Funded by the private sector. How can the public sector? Give me a break. Household spending and income is a mismatch. It depends. If they get another line of credit on the house, if they can get another lien on the house, if they get that credit card in the mail to help them out, I think that could be a good holdover. A nice $12,000 credit card from some company to help you out. ANZ's Felicity said figures were disappointing, particularly on ongoing weakness in the household sector, where vehicle sales, household goods, and utility spending were the main drags. The motor vehicle and household goods are probably related to credit tightening and perhaps on impact of wealth effect. Remember, we talked about this on trends in the housing market. Guys, remember, people have to buy a blender, and if they don't have a credit card, they're not buying their blender to make their smoothies. Ms. Emmett said that there was a big mismatch with consumer spending still outpacing household income growth. So what does that tell you? People are spending more than what they're making. So consumers are still assuming that their household income will pick up to match consumption spending, she added. Wow, that's a vivid imagination. Wow. I think in this new world of ongoing low wage growth, it's actually perhaps an unreasonable assumption. This topic that Reserve Bank Governor Philip Lowe, in a speech Wednesday morning, arguing that weak pay growth and low wage expectations were bigger long-term threat to consumer spending than falling house prices. It's technically true in a way, but Australia's minimum wage is 3 times higher, or twice or 3 times higher than what it is in Canada. And it's 3 times higher than what it is in the States. So, yeah, Australia has it good when it comes to minimum wage, but houses are still more expensive in Vancouver than Australia. So, and people in Vancouver are making $11 an hour. So, minimum wage, right? The change in consumer habits is reflected in a slight uptick in income to savings ratio, which in turn points to more conservative approach to spending developing. Citi's Paul Brennan said that the rise of savings in consistent the negative wealth effect from falling house prices, while the weakness in consumer spending reflects poor income growth. Although normal non-inflation adjusted GDP is slowing strongly, the share going to employees has declined in contrast to the rising profit. Mr. Bernard wrote, "Sorry guys, I just woke up. Gotta do this story for you guys." Additionally, household income available for consumption has been further squeezed by payments growing faster than income. There it is right there. There's the inversion. There it is. There's the gross disposable household income. Oh, that's it? I was getting into this. Here you have it, guys, in a nutshell. They're bringing it out in segments. I think the media, what they're doing, they've been massaging people for so many years now into nothing's wrong, that you're going to see price levels go back to 1998 levels because everyone's spended beyond. Even if people could get more pay, they're still going to keep spending more than what they could afford. That's just plain and simple. That's just basic human nature on where things trend towards. I'm just telling you in a nutshell what's going on and why it's going to happen. And this is going to come to a city near you. Right now, I know in Vancouver, there's people working like 3-4 part-time jobs just to cover their rent. They're not covering anything but rent. They're not buying extra food. They're not having a kid. Rent. I could understand if they have 2 children or they get twins unexpectedly and they have a huge sacrifices to make. It's not even that. It's they want to buy that blender. They want to get that car to impress the neighbors. They want to keep up the appearances. And that's what's been happening. Anyways, guys, this is Australia's recession on per capita basis. It is I, Mike Martins. Support the transmission by sharing one of my videos. I really appreciate you guys doing that. It means a lot to me. And yeah, keep me informed tonight. If you want to be on the trends in the housing market tonight, we're gonna have open lines. Add me on Skype, Mike Martins 1980. Just Mike Martins 1980. And add me on Skype. Send me a one-liner saying, "Hey, Mike, I'm from New Zealand. Hey, Mike, I'm from the UK. Hey, Mike, I'm from Canada. Hey, Mike, I'm from California or the US somewhere. I saw this. I want to talk about this in my area. Come on the show. We want to hear what you got to say. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments below what you guys think."